Hello learners, I'm sure your preparation must be going on in full swing for the examinations, and I'm your mathematics guru Shivani ma'am, and today I'm there to help you with another topic of book 2 mathematics and statistics, which is index number. So let's first understand what is the meaning of index numbers. Now there's a very important statistical topic, and it is used not only in policies, making planning, okay, but also to study a lot of other changes with respect to prices, valuations, time, geographical locations, etc. So let's first understand the part that generally when you see the value of money is not same every time. आज से 4 साल पहले आप जितने पैसे में चीजें खरीद लेते थे और the salary of the person who was there at that time was maybe sufficient at that time, but today in the same salary living a comfortable life might be difficult. आप लोगों के हिसाब से ले सकते हैं कि जो आपका डेली एक्सपेंस होता था लास्ट ईयर, there definitely must be difference, actually increase in general in your this year expenses. आपका जो एक रेगुलर वड़ा पाव भी आप खा रहे हो उसके भी प्राइस में डिफरेंस आ सकता है, समोसा के भी प्राइस में डिफरेंस आ सकता है, आपका कम्यूट करने का जो है, जो ऑटो रिक्शा का ट्रैवल प्राइस होता था वो डिफरेंट हो सकता है, ट्रेन के टिकट्स कैन बी डिफरेंट, कैब प्राइसेस डिफरेंट. तो ऑल दीज प्राइसेस जिसमें कि आपको ये डिफरेंस या वैल्यू डिफरेंस मिल रहा है, दैट वी कैन जज एंड वी कैन कैलकुलेट कि ऑन एन एवरेज किस तरीके से थिंग्स आर गोइंग अप or going down. Certain cases this also happens, can be calculated using index numbers. So one of the most popular statistical tool is actually index number. Now when we talk about the index number, it can be defined in different manners. Now it is a statistical measure of change in a variable or a group of variables. Now the variable can be price, which is the most common variable. It can be the quantity, okay? It can be time. With respect to time we are calculating it. Income is there, which can be used over there, like cost of living index jo hota hai, which is used to find how much dearness allowance should be given to someone. So any company first find out that what is the cost of living index, and then they decide on the increments which need to be given to the people. और मे बी आपके पेरेंट्स भी ये सोच के डिसाइड करते हैं कि आपका पॉकेट मनी कितना बढ़ाया जाए आपके लिए. So now here the next is an index number is used for measuring changes in some quantities that cannot be measured directly. It can be used as a single ratio, or it can also be used as percentage because we calculate it on the basis of the percentage thing. So like if something you were buying was of 20 rupees last year and इस साल वो 25 की हो गई है, so percentage basis पे we'll calculate that if 20 is rupees 100, what should be the value this year, and that will come as your 125 as index number. There is no unit for that because as I just said, या तो ratio होगा या percentage है, so we are not going to write any unit over there. And now we are going to understand that exactly what are the basic terminologies we are going to use for the index number. In most of the cases, especially when we talk about your portion, we go with time as the parameter, like base year, current year. So that will help you in doing the prediction for the future years. So base year is the base period of this for which we are going to take the things. Like base period को हम use करते हैं with a subscription 0. Okay, so like if we write price for base year, so we'll write P and then it will be 0 at the end of this. This is what is the denotion. For the current year, we go with subscription 1. Okay, so the current period is 1. If it is for quantity, it will be Q0, Q1. If it's for value, it will become V0, V1. Okay, now the period used can be month, can be days, can be week also, but usually in your portion, what we go with is year. Every year we take that. So these are the notations for this: price, quantity, and variable over there. And using these things, we can calculate either the price index, quantity index, or we can say value index. Okay. Now for the price index, we'll see that what is the increase in the price from the base year price. So that index can be calculated as P1 by P0 into 100. This can also be stated as price relative. That's the term for this. For the quantity, same thing, we go with the thing that Q0, Q1 by Q0 into 100. Okay, which can be taken as the quantity relative. Questions may usually it will be majorly based on price relative. Now on the basis of this, now we construct the index numbers. For the construction, we use simple aggregate method or weighted aggregate method. Aggregate आप सबको पता है, we are just going to add up the things. तो उन सबको एक साथ add करेंगे and then we compare the things that how much is the new value as compared to the previous value. So for the simple aggregate method of price index, we've got a very simple formula. P01 is the way we write. P stands for the price index. 01 means we are finding out the price index for year 1, which is current year, with respect to the base year, which is your 0. So P01 is sigma P1 by sigma P0 into 100. Now sigma P1 means we'll be adding all the prices of the different commodities which are given in the question for you, and then P0 is the sum of the prices for the base year, and then we compare that. Same thing we go with the quantity thing. You can see this Q01 sigma Q1 upon sigma Q0 into 100. This can also be used for the value. Now when we talk about value we can only calculate when we multiply price with the quantity. Okay, so then we get sigma P1 Q1 upon sigma P0 Q0 multiplied by 100. So this will give you a value index. Okay, so this is what exactly is the basic of the index number, which will help you in finding out the change in the value of the variables which is given to you. So let's take a very basic question over here. This is not a very difficult topic, but please remember all the formulae and be careful of the calculations, because calculation errors can change everything over there. So let's take one example where we'll take the value thing. Okay, so we've been given various commodities, say P, Q, R, S and T with the base year values or base year price and current year price and quantity. This question has to be solved in tabular form, so your table need to be very, very clear. So the base year will be divided into two parts because we are having both P0 as well as Q0. Similarly, current year will be divided into two parts, that is your P1 and Q1. Okay, so let's see the values which are given over here: 10, 20, this is 30, 40 and 50. These are the pricing. For the base year, quantity is 6, 4, 7, 8 and 3. Similarly, we are having say 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100 for the current year, and then the quantities are 7, 6, 8, 9 and 5. So when we have this, your next step should be writing the formula. When you write the formula in any statistical question, it helps you in knowing how many columns are required over there. So when we write formula, if we have to find out value index, V01 is sigma P1 Q1 upon sigma P0 Q0 multiplied by 100, as it is a percentage based thing. So now I know that we have to find out one column which is P1 Q1 and one column which is P0 Q0. So let's calculate the column P1 Q1 and then calculate it P0 Q0. Clear? So P1 Q1 will be 16 to 7. It will come as 420, then the other one is also 420. This is 640, 810 and 500. Okay, so when you add it, it's coming as 2790. P naught Q naught, when you go with 10 into 6, 60, 80, 30 into 7 is basically your 210, 320 and 150, which is coming as 820. So when you have these values with you, we just have to put it into the formula which we have written below and calculate the answer. So when we calculate, it's 2790 upon 820 multiplied by 100, and this answer 340.24 will be your index value or index number, which is value index number. So this just shows that if you were able to spend 100 rupees in the base year for a particular thing, for a given quantity, then for the same quantity, you have to actually now spend 320.24 rupees. I think it's very clear to you people now. These questions can also be asked in some other values, like some missing terms can be there. Okay, and then you have to calculate the missing terms as well as the values over there. So these questions can also be solved in the same manner. जैसे अगर आपका ये missing term given होगा and उसके साथ इन्होंने यहाँ पे एक sum दे दिया होगा, so then we can use that sum to find out the missing term. So like that can be written as x, then add the things. This is 25 plus x, and if they have given that sigma q1 is equal to 33, so you can calculate the value of x. Okay, same question, same formula, only a little bit variations in the things. Okay, so this was your first kind of thing which was dealing with aggregate method, simple aggregate method for the things. Now we move to another method which is known as weighted aggregate method. Now weights are basically values given to the substances on the basis of their relative importance. Like if we see in our day-to-day expenses also, the major expenses which comes are like the house rents or maybe the home loan thing. So house takes a major amount for our from our income. Then second, food is again something very, very important. Okay, so the day-to-day food, vegetables, everything that takes major amount from our income. Afterward comes the slightly lower ones. Third one, definitely education of the kids. Okay, so good amount goes for that. Then we have maybe the clothes and other things, and some like sometimes on the parties, whatever you are expending. So we basically make a table and put the things as the values depending upon how much importance we are giving to the things and how much we are spending on them. So weighted aggregate method uses that the weight either will be given to you directly or we have to calculate the weight depending upon different formulae. So if the weights are directly given to you, we use small w to denote the weights. So then what will we do? We'll find out, say if we have to find out price index, so P01 is sigma P1W upon sigma P0W into 100. Okay. If we have to find out quantity, so Q01 is sigma Q1W upon sigma Q0W into 100. Okay. So we can see that we are using the same thing. Only the multiplication part comes over there rather than the base quantity or the current year quantity as the weights. But we have got certain statisticians who have given fixed formulae, and आपके exams में ये सबसे ज़्यादा इस form में ही आता है. When they'll be asking you the formula given by a particular statistician and you have to use that. Now the first one over here is by Lasperez. Lasperez given the price index number using base year quantity as base, as weights over there. So it is Q1 P1 Q0 P0 Q0 into 100. That is your Lasperez price index method. Also denoted as P01, bracket may we can use L to show that it is last price. The second one who did the next method, that was by Paches. Now Paches thought कि जब हम base year quantity को importance दे रहे हैं, why can't we get the price index using the current year quantity? So he gave another formula which was dealing with Q1 as the weights. So Paches we denote again in the bracket P, and the formula actually goes as sigma P1 Q1 upon sigma P naught Q1 into 100. For the first one, both the weights were Q naught. For second one, Q1. Now, Daubish and Wallace, that was the third one, they decided that we can't ignore anyone because Lasparez has ignored the current year quantity, Paches has ignored the base year quantity. So Daubish Wallace decided that no, we'll go with both of them, and they took the average of arithmetic average of Lasparez and Paches. So whatever value you've got as Lasparez and Paches, add them and divide it by 2 to get your final answer. Then Fisher's, because arithmetic mean is not always considered to be the ideal average. Fisher said that we'll go with the more scientific one, which is the geometric mean. So he gave geometric mean as the thing, and he took P01, that is the Fisher's F, which is coming as P1 Q0 upon P0 Q0 multiplied by P1 Q1 upon sigma P0 Q1 ka whole square root, because that is the geometric mean into 100. I'll give you the list of the formulae at the end of this session also, so you can have a look, you can take a screenshot and keep it for your reference. Then after this, there were two more. Marshall Edgeworth, he said that we can take the pricing just once and take the average of, arithmetical average of the quantities. So he gave P1 Q0 plus Q1 upon P0 Q0 plus Q1. Average ka divided by 2 definitely has got cancelled over here. That's why it's not written in the formula. And in the same manner, we have the last one for this, that is Walsh's price index. He also used the same thing, that let's use the pricing once only, why to write it again, and let's take the quantity as, or the weight as the square root. That means the geometric mean of the two quantities, which is root of Q0 Q1 upon Q0 Q1, both the cases, multiplied by P1 and P0 respectively. So these questions as such are not going to be very, very difficult, but if you don't remember the formulae, then it will create a problem. So just be very clear which formula is asked and what have you calculated over there. So let's take one example for this particular part also. So we've got certain values for base year and current year. So the commodities can be say A, B, C and D. Base year pricing P0 Q0. Current year is P1 Q1. So it's like 20, 10, 40, 30. We have 9584 as the quantity for base year. These are the base year values. And these are the current year values. So when we come to P1 Q1, again it's like 30, 40, 10 and 20, and the values are say 4, 5, 2, 1. We're writing that. Here in this question, they are specifically asking the Walsh price index number. So as I said in the last one also, first write the formula and then start making the remaining columns. So when we write the P01 for Walsh, W we are going to write in the bracket. It is actually sigma P1 under root Q0 Q1 upon sigma P0 under root Q0 Q1. That multiplied by 100. So seeing that, we decided, okay, now we want a column known as Q0 Q1 first, and then multiply it by P0 under root Q0 Q1, and then P1 under root Q0 Q1. So writing the formula first always gives you an added advantage कि कौन से columns बनाने हैं, and then you won't end up making something extra, or at the end realizing, okay, I have not done something, we should have done it. So that's the reason. First write this, but write after 3-4 lines so that you can have your space for addition also. Now when we talk about under root Q0 Q1, so Q0 into Q1, say 9 into 4, square root will become 6, this is 5, this is 4, and this is 2. As soon as you get this, work becomes very easy. First multiply it by 20 into this, so 120, we have got 50, we've got 160 and 60, and then with the next one, which is your P1. So 30 into 6, 180, 40 multiplied by 5, which is 200, then we have 40 and 40. Get their additions. So when we see their addition, as such, it's coming up as 390 and 510. This is 250 here, sorry. Okay. Now, so once we have this, writing them again over here, the first value is coming as P0 into this, which is, and this value was, the mistake was here actually, ये value आपकी 50 थी. So वो मैंने गलती से 40 कर दी थी. 50 and 10 and 20. Fine. So now we have corrected this. It is 180, 250, 40 and 40, which is 510. Put the values. The value will come as 510 by 390 multiplied by 100. And then you'll get the answer as 130.77. P01 W. Please have a habit of putting your answer in block. So that will always help you in getting the answer highlighted to the examiner. Okay? So this is your first part of the index number, where we have actually taken the price index number or value or quantity index number with respect to various formulae. Now we are moving to another very important way, or another very important aspect of index number is calculating the cost of living index number. Now, cost of living index number, also known as consumer price index number, basically helps in calculating that how much amount or how much is the increase or inflation rate, you can say, in terms of the living style or living cost of a person. This definitely depends on certain factors. First of all, we have to calculate the base year. Now, the base year can be a particular year which you have chosen, which is a fixed year for the thing, or we can also calculate it by the moving thing. Like we can have the chain method, in which for 1980, the base year will be 79. For 1981, the base year will be 80, and goes on like this. In your portion, we are actually dealing with the fixed base method. Now, the choice of commodities. Usually, the commodities must represent the regular taste, habits, the general way of living, customs of the people who are there. It should be very clearly recognizable over there. Commodities should have the same quantity over different periods or places. And the economic and social importance of different commodities should be taken into account also. It should be sufficiently large in number, and all the varieties of the commodity should be included in the value given to us. The next part is the collection of prices. आपको उसके लिए bother नहीं होना है. This is just the theoretical thing. You will be already given the prices in the questions. But this can be into your general MCQs, where a little bit of theory is asked. So here, first, the prices where we collect, it's usually the price which is a general market price. It should not be one shop is giving it a higher rate, one shop is giving it a lower rate. So we're just considering that. It should be the general recognizable price over there. from a place where the particular commodity is bought in the large quantities. Now, once we get this thing, we will calculate the cost of living index by using two methods. First, again, is the simple aggregate method, where we will be calculating the sum of the quantities and price ka product for the current year and for the base year. Now you can see over here, if you remember, this is P1 Q0 because the year which we have used as weights or as the base is Q0. So कुछ क्लिक किया, अब भी थोड़ी देर पहले हमने किया था Lasperay's formula. He has used the same thing. He has used the base year quantity as the weights to get the answer. So cost of living index का जो आपका basic formula है, it's that only. Okay. Then we have the second method. This is slightly different, that we have not done in the previous one, which is the family budget method. In the family budget method, some weights are assigned, and again the weights are assigned on the basis of its relative importance in your budget. Then to calculate the weights, first we are calculating a term known as I. This is again price relative, which is P1 by P0 into 100 for that current year. And the weight is always taken as P0 Q0. That's the base year weight. And your cost of living index is actually going to be sigma IW upon sigma W. Here, in this formula, I'm not writing multiplied by 100. Have you noticed why? Because multiplied by 100 is already taken care in the value of price relative. So this is what we are going to use to get the cost of living index numbers. The method will mainly given to you in the question itself, whether they wanted the aggregate method or they want the family budget method. So let's see one question here, where the weights are directly given to you, becomes very easy for you. So you just have to calculate IW upon sigma W and get the answer. If they have not given the base, then you have to actually calculate that. So here, calculate the price relative value first and get the thing. Let's see one question over here. The groups are food, clothing, fuel and lighting, house rent, miscellaneous over here. The prices in the base year, which is 1995 was the base year in this question, 8, 18, 20, 15 and 10. The current year is taken as 1999. So the prices are 24, 36, 40, 30 and 22. Now first we'll calculate, because the method is family budget method, first we'll calculate the price relative. Now price relative is P1 by P0 into 100. So respective thing, 24 divided by 8 into 100, we get 300. 36 divided by 18 into 100, we get 200. 40 divided by 20 into 100, 200. 30 by 15, 200. And then 22 by 10 into 100, which is 220. Now this value becomes your I. Now if you notice the formula, beta, 3 CLI jo aapka aa raha hai, that is the cost of living index. It's only sigma IW by sigma W. You don't require the sum of I's. So we won't calculate that. Now we'll go with the value of W already given in the question, 6, 12, 8, 4 and 10. What do we require over here? Sum of W. So we'll add that. We also require sum of IW. So we'll make a column of IW and add that. So the value of I, which you've calculated, will be multiplied to W, 300 into 6, then 24 and then get the things. The total sum is 88. And then by the family budget method, the cost of living index has come up as 220. Now, this question is not over here. It means first that in 1995, if you were using 100 rupees as your family expense, today you require 222 for the same in 1999. Now, another part of the question can be asked over here, that now the expenditure in 1995 was 800. So what should be the expenditure in the current year? To calculate that, we can use the unitary method also, that in 1995, the thing was 800. In 1999, what should be its value? So we'll go with the CLI of both the things. So ye 100 hai, aapka base year hai. And this is 220, which we have just calculated. So using this, जब आप unitary करते हो तो criss-cross के method के साथ आते हैं. X into 100 will be 220 into 800, and X will be equal to 220 multiplied by 800 by 100, which is rupees 1760. So you can say that for the same expenditure today, the person need to earn rupees 1760 rupees. So this is how our basic index number thing is calculated. Now we are going with the uses of the cost of living index method. First of all, अभी जैसे मैंने यहीं पे दिखाया, आपको पता चल जाता है कि how much more you have to earn. So this is used to find out the salaries, okay, or the wages which has to be given by the company, because they can see the cost of living index in the general area and then decide how much they have to give the increment over there. So any dispute regarding that can be clarified easily over there. The next thing is we can also find out the purchasing power of money. Now the purchasing power of money can be calculated as 1 upon the cost of living index value. So this shows that if something you were buying for 1 rupees in the previous, today, what is its value? Okay. Then it also helped in determining the real wages, and even the government companies, they basically show the cost of living index to also show how the country is progressing. Okay. So this was your complete chapter. I'll send you the thing just now after this, the formula list, which is very important for this chapter. So please work on the formulae, just go with the correct tabular format, calculations, and this chapter is in your bag. So with this, I'll come with another chapter in the next video. Till then, keep studying and all the best.